talk about everything that is affecting the country and also social issues. And today being a Wednesday, the show is always packed for you. And we are going to talk about very interesting things, including the state of education in the country and also matters to do with abductions. CS Muturi continues to spill the beans on what transpired regarding the abduction of his son, and also the threats of impeachment were made to Justin Muturi and given options so that he can remain as CS. That is one interesting thing that is going to shape the politics of 2025. So you want to tune in and find out more about the things that we are going to talk about. Yesterday there was the vetting of the 3 CS nominees by the National Assembly Committee on Appointments. So what is one thing that is unique that they are bringing to the table? That is one of the talks that is going to take place here on Good Morning Kenya. In studio, I'll be having Honorable Wilson Sosion, who is a former nominated MP, and also Dr. Evelyn Ogendo, who is a political analyst, David Alulu, who is a political analyst also, and Honorable Senator Danson Mungatana, who is the senator for Tana River County. So that is a conversation that is coming to you immediately after the news. So I invite you to tune in. Good morning, Vivian.
Good morning, Mike.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I can see we're both in grey, so we were in the spirit.
We were in spirit. Marie did not get the memo.
She definitely didn't get the memo. But don't worry, Marie.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it happens. A very good morning to each and every one of you who is tuned in on the show this beautiful Wednesday morning, a day after the CS nominees vetting that Mike will be looking into today with his panelists, where we had William Kabogo, Mutahi Kagwe and Lee Kinyanjui face the National Assembly for vetting, and I'm sure Mike will be getting into that so that we get to know exactly what political analysts think about what inspired yesterday. Now, today marks exactly 5 years since the Dusit D2 terror attack, and it was a time when it was a dark time for the country, and also a time when we got to experience some loopholes in on matters security in our country. So today we want to look at a topic that is countering emerging security threats. That is what we will be looking at, and just trying to see how well we can safeguard our country and even just our communities at large, and try to see how exactly security, how exactly we can go about countering emerging security threats in this country and the East African community at large. Joining me for that will be Mr. Jackson Mbuthia, who is SGA Security Group Chief Commercial Officer. We are going to be looking into matters security. You definitely want to stay tuned for that. But right now, let's get to know what is making headlines in the news. Marie, what's happening in the news?
Indeed, Vivian, a very good morning to all of you joining us here in Nairobi and across the country. You're just in time for the Good Morning Kenya show. And as my colleagues have already mentioned, much of the details of what they've mentioned there, including the abduction, stories will be coming your way in this particular bulletin. My name is Marie Yambo, and in the highlights this morning, Public Service CS Justin Muturi dismisses calls for his resignation and exerts more pressure on the government to get to the bottom of the alleged abductions. And when the ghosts come calling, COVID-19 scandals resurfaced during the vetting of former health CS, that is Mutahi Kagwe, with MPs also scrutinizing integrity issues linked to former governors Lee Kinyanjui and William Kabogo. And Kenya signs the first of its kind comprehensive economic partnership agreement with the United Arab Emirates All the details coming up in the news, including sports. Remember, Chan has been postponed, and we'll be giving you those details at the tail end of this particular bulletin. Let's begin right there with our lead story, where Public Service Cabinet Secretary, that is Justin Muturi, has dismissed calls for his resignation, maintaining that the government needs to get to the bottom of reported cases of abductions. The CS has said that his position does not contradict any government position. He spoke after he recorded a statement with the Directorate of Criminal Investigations at the Kilimani police station over last year's abduction and release of his son. Let's get the details of that story with our reporter, JJ Kioria.
Kilimani police station in Nairobi. Public Service Cabinet Secretary Justin Muturi, following his statement Sunday that the government was yet to furnish him with answers after the abduction and release of his son in June of 2024, the DCI released a statement calling on the former Attorney General to record a statement. Straight to the DCI offices, Muturi delivered his statement detailing the circumstances under which his son was abducted and the calls he made to senior government officials with no answers forthcoming. Muturi claims it took the intervention of a top official in government for his son to be released. And when he emerged from recording the statement,
they say that they have actually recorded statements from the other witnesses who are with my son, among them the Honorable Mark Mwenje and another young man, Mark Mwenje's driver. They say they have recorded a statement. They have also recorded a statement from the gentleman who was with my son in his car, called Marango Imanyara. They say they have recorded their statement. So they are now busy processing, according to them.
Muturi remained defiant, dismissing those calling for his resignation.
I would just say, bring it on. I mean, at my age, I'm not the kind of person to respond to some of it is really very perfunctory statement made by fairly inexperienced politicians. I think they are not worthy my response.
The CS says his position on the need for a comprehensive approach to abductions in the country does not contradict any government position.
Kila mmoja ndani ya serikali amekuwa akilaani utekaji nyara. Kwa hivyo sio ni tofauti ile iko. Kila mmoja kuanzia juu kabisa tumekuwa tukisema we don't recognize, we don't approve of abductions.
This, even as the family of Steve Mbisi from Kibwezi, believed to have been abducted, continued to call on the government to reveal the whereabouts of their son. The family now claims Mbisi was abducted in Machakos County by relatives said to be police officers.
Iko na shida, maana sijui ni kama ni ako hai ama amekufa, na ndio ninaomba Mwenyezi Mungu amjalie neema aonekane.
Wakati babake alipata hizo report, aliweza kuwa mgonjwa, akalazwa hospitalini na mpaka saa hii hajaitoka.
Thank you, JJ Kioria. Now, the ghost of COVID-19 scandals resurfaced during the former Health CS Mutahi Kagwe's vetting for the position of Agriculture CS, with legislators questioning the loss of funds during the pandemic. Meanwhile, Information Communication and the Digital Economy nominee, that is William Kabogo, faced tough questions on his strategy to curb social media misuse to tarnish leaders' reputations. Now, Lee Kinyanjui, nominated to the Investments, Trade and Industry docket, denied allegations of dumping street children in a forest during his tenure as the Nakuru governor. Gishuki Washera reports on the grilling exercise.
Tuesday afternoon at County Hall, the three nominees to cabinet faced the National Assembly Committee on Appointments, chaired by the Speaker Moses Wetangula, and at the stroke of midday, former Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe walked in and took oath before the process kicked off.
I, Mutahi Kagwe.
His vetting exercise was characterized by questions on loss of COVID-19 funds during his tenure at the health docket at the height of the pandemic.
On vaccines, it is believed that you failed to account on the procurement of 1.6 billion worth of vaccines.
And the whole issue of the expenditure on vaccines, Mr. Chairman, is actually exaggerated. Because 90% of the vaccines that we actually used in Kenya were donated.
Defended himself on the procurement processes.
The negatives, I take responsibility. The positives, I give credit to the team that was working at the ministry.
The Agriculture and Livestock CS nominee also pledged to transform the agriculture sector and make it lucrative to attract young people.
If we are going to revive agriculture, the only way we are ever going to do it is when the farmer is profitable.
On the controversy surrounding the vaccination of livestock, Kagwe pledged to work with experts to explain the benefits of the vaccine.
The evidence I shall give before this committee.
Former Kiambu Governor William Kabogo was next to be vetted a few minutes past 3 p.m. MPs queried him on his plan to deal with cyber attacks, misuse of social media platforms, tame incidences of data breaches, and enhance the digital economy.
Cognizant of the fact that there is freedom of expression in Kenya, and we have to strike a balance so that the freedom of one is not used to infringe on the freedom of others.
He was also grilled on his plans to ensure the state broadcaster KBC was profitable.
I want to be the one who sorts KBC. If you put it in your house, people will want to watch because it's got the right content.
Legislators would also ask him to shed light on allegations of being involved in an illegal drug trade and the circumstances surrounding the death of a university student, Mercy Kano, in which he was widely mentioned.
And life was lost, but I sincerely and truly had nothing to do with it.
Former Nakuru Governor Lee Kinyanjui was the last to be grilled a few minutes to 6 p.m. He was put to task to explain his plans for the investments, trade and industry docket amid concerns of collapsing local retail businesses.
We must look at our education, what do we need, and where do we direct our young people.
Kinyanjui was also on the spot to explain allegations of dumping street children in Embubut Forest during his tenure as governor.
You remember this matter came up in the Senate?
Yes.
And Embubut Forest was said to be infested with hyenas and other dangerous wild animals, and some of those children were never found.
Mr. Speaker, it is extremely wrong.
I have used the word very advisedly, alleged.
I also have many allegations about everybody else. So if it's about allegations, I think we can also come up with allegations.
The committee now retreats to finalize its report, which will be tabled and discussed in a special sitting this Thursday.
Well, we move on where President William Ruto and his United Arab Emirates counterpart, that is His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, presided over the signing of the Kenya United Arab Emirates Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, that is SEPA, marking a historic milestone in the economic relations between the two nations. This is the first agreement of its kind signed by the UAE with a mainland African country, representing a transformative step in enhancing trade, investment, and economic cooperation. The agreement aims to deepen trade ties by eliminating barriers to trade, simplifying customs procedures, and promoting industrialization and regional value chains. The Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, SEPA, goes beyond trade in goods by addressing services, technological innovation, digital trade, and sustainability. It also opens new opportunities for Kenyan service providers in sectors such as education, transport, communications, construction, and engineering to access the UAE market. The partnership aligns with Kenya's bottom-up economic transformation agenda by unlocking new markets for priority value chains, attracting foreign direct investment, and promoting technology transfer to support livelihoods across the country. Trade between Kenya and the UAE has more than doubled over the years, reaching 445 billion shillings in 2023. UAE ranks Kenya as 6th largest export destination and 2nd largest source of imports, accounting for 16% of Kenya's total imports. Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki has urged those disagreeing with the policies of the current administration to have their say respectfully. Speaking in Njukuni, that is in Taita Taveta County, while issuing title deeds, the DP said Kenyans have the right to express themselves, but the prosperity of the nation, he noted, cannot be achieved by abusing leaders. At the same time, Kindiki called on the public to be patient with the Kenya Kwanza administration to deliver on its mandate. Here is our reporter Abdiaziz Hashim with the details.
Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki, alongside several legislators and national government officials, pitched a tent in Taita Taveta County. It is here the second in command called for tolerance.
Paka tupendane, paka tuendelee kujumuika pamoja, tuwe jamii moja kubwa ya Kenya. Si namna hiyo? Mimi nimesikia mbunge moja hapa anataja sijui hao watu, sijui ni kabila hii iko na watu hii, sijui Wapare ni wangapi, sijui kabila ingine ni wangapi. Hiyo mambo ya hesabu ya jamii zetu ni mambo ambao hayana maana sana, kwa sababu sisi zote ni taifa moja la Kenya.
Speaking while issuing 1,300 title deeds in Njukini, Kindiki stated that Kenyans have the right to disagree with policies being implemented by the government, but ought to be done respectfully.
Tupelekane tu polepole, tusiwekeane pressure. Nchi yetu iko na matatizo mengi, wananchi wako na uhuru wa kuhimiza serikali wafanyie maendeleo. Ile tu tunaomba ni kwamba haisaidii kutumia matusi ndio kuletewa maendeleo. Uwezi tafuta maendeleo kwa kutusi watu wengine ama kwa kutusi viongozi. Tuwe na heshima, na hiyo sio kusema hatuwezi kutofautiana na serikali. Mwananchi anaweza kuwa na maoni tofauti, viongozi wa upinzani wanaweza kuwa na maoni tofauti, lakini jameni, tuwe na heshima.
Kindiki further urged Kenyans to allow the administration time to achieve its manifesto ahead of the polls.
Mambo ya siasa ikifika, kura inapigwa, mtu anapigia ule anapigia, story inaishia hapo, tunabaki tukiendelea tukiwa wa Kenya. Kweli si kweli? Kwani siasa ni vita? Mambo ya kura ni vita? Kwa hivyo tusiweke chuki katika mambo ya nchi yetu. Sisi zote hatuna nchi nyingine.
Meanwhile, 2027 politics took center stage with leaders accompanying the deputy president, taking a swipe at their critics.
Mwaka 2027 ambaye atakaongoza katika nchi yetu ni William Samoei. Hebu weka mkono, William. Basi sasa wale wengine wanamangamanga hapa na pale na propaganda ambayo haifai.
Yale yanasemwa kule nje, sisi hatutaki kuyasikia wala hatuko hapo. Sisi tuko kwa kuona ya kwamba ni wakati wa maendeleo, wacha tufanye kazi.
Meanwhile, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has said that the government will establish and gazette 2 new land registries in Taita Taveta County.
Now to a tragic incident where 2 children were burnt beyond recognition at the Karai Muslims village in Kikuyu constituency in a mid-morning fire incident. The fire that razed down the house to ashes couldn't be contained as residents tried to fight the inferno that spread quickly. The locals now want speedy investigations into the matter that has left them in shock and sorrow.
A sorrowful mood engulfed Karai village in Kikuyu constituency after this house caught fire around 9 a.m., burning to death 2 children. The villagers tried their best to fight the inferno, but their efforts bore no fruits.
Mwingine kuangalia kunika kama kwa kitanda kadogo kidogo tukakaona. Sasa vile tukaangalia tukaona sasa kuna shida hii kitu kingine. Nyumba tulishaungua, watoto tulikuwa na watafuta ndio hawa, nguvu yangu ikanishia.
Ni vijana wawili, mmoja ni mtoto wa mama na mwingine ni mchukuu wake.
Investigations into the incident have begun. Meanwhile, 2 suspected livestock thieves were killed by a mob after they were caught in the act at Eshianini village, Kakamega County. Zafani Omalwa, owner of the livestock, recalls bumping the thieves in the act before screaming for help.
majirani wakaamka. Kwa hiyo harakati wa kuamka wakakuja kutusaidia. Kwa hiyo harakati walikuwa wanatafuta. Papa hapo ndio tulipata wale walikuwa wanapita na pikipiki kama wamebeba.
Na ukijua uko na mtoto mbaya kwa boma lako, jitokeza hadharani useme mtoto wangu ni mbaya, tujue tunaweza msaidia namna gani. Lakini wakati mhalifu anashikwa na wewe unaanza kumtetea, unamshika unakimbia na yeye, unamchimbia kaburi.
The area chief, while acknowledging that the two have been terrorizing the village, however cautioned residents against taking matters into their own hands.
To matters corruption now, where the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has arrested a former Kisumu County ICT Director, Marie Yambo. Migot faces charges related to the forgery of academic certificates. He is also accused of using fake academic certificates to secure employment with the county government, thereby defrauding the public through salary received for 3 years. Achula Simon has the details.
During the 3 years he worked as the Information Communication and Technology Director in Kisumu County, Migot is estimated to have earned 4,656,211 shillings in salaries and other allowances. Investigations revealed that the suspect forged a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science degree certificate from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. He also forged a Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education, purporting it to have been issued by the Kenya National Examinations Council. It is on the basis of the forged documents that the suspect secured the lucrative job from Kisumu County. He presented the fake documents to the County Public Service Board of Kisumu, which interviewed him for the position. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution has recommended charges on several counts that include forgery contrary to Section 345, as read with Section 349 of the Penal Code, uttering a false document contrary to Section 353 of the Penal Code, and fraudulent acquisition of public property. The suspect is held at Kisumu Central Police Station and will be arraigned on 15th January 2025.
Now to business, where the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority has hiked fuel prices effective midnight, with a litre of super petrol going up by 29 cents, while diesel is costlier by 2 shillings per litre. The cost of kerosene, which is used for lighting and cooking in many low-income households, has been increased by 3 shillings 3 shillings price hike per litre. Now, the pump price of diesel and kerosene would have been higher if the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority had not tapped funds from the Price Stabilization Fund to reduce the retail cost of diesel and kerosene by 2 shillings and 23 cents and 4 shillings and 16 cents respectively. While Kenya is targeting to attract about 200,000 adventure travelers in the next 5 years as it unveils the Magical Kenya Mountain and Trail Series, the series that kicked off on Monday with a 5-day long hike forms part of the country's broader strategy to diversify its tourism product portfolio and increase revenue by tapping into the fast-growing global adventure tourism market, which was valued at approximately $804 billion in 2024.
A variety of initiatives designed to market Kenya's diverse tourism products, including mountaineering and trails, have been unveiled in Laikipia County.
Very nice, Magical Kenya Trail Series.
Tourism Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano, accompanied by Head of Public Service Felix Koskei, emphasized that this experience fuses multiple tourism offerings such as cultural shows, sports, wellness and adventure.
As a Ministry of Tourism, we then are diversifying the products that will suit a modern day traveler, a traveler that wants to experience a place, not only to see a few things, but to have diversity.
We are now up Mount Elgon
our savannah across, and very soon we shall also venture towards northeastern.
The goal is to attract 5 million tourists over the next 2 years and 10 million by 2032. The inaugural heritage trails and Bagentuni mountain run in Nyahururu marks the beginning of this ambitious series. It will traverse Laikipia County with hikers, bikers and fans covering 5 counties over the next 5 days.
This is the only county in this world that you can be able, within 1 hour, you can be able to see the big 5. And we want us to commit ourselves as the county government of Laikipia and the great people of Laikipia that we would want to play a great role and a pivotal role in terms of developing the product in this region.
For this partnership, we have now expanded to Aberdare Mountains and Mount Elgon. So you can see that in Athletics Kenya we are growing because of this partnership.
The trail is open to both local and international tourists and will eventually expand to other counties. This initiative is part of the Kenya Tourism Board's effort to diversify products beyond the traditional bush and beach experiences, incorporating sports and adventure.
I look at sports now, where the 2024 African Nations Championship has been postponed from February to August this year, according to the Confederation of African Football. The CAF technical and infrastructure experts said more time is required to ensure that the infrastructure and facilities are at requisite standards to host the championship. CAF President Dr. Patrice Motsepe, who will grace today's draw, which will be conducted as scheduled, said he was confident with the progress made to co-host the 2024 CHAN by Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania in the ongoing constructions and renovations of football infrastructure and facilities. And Sports Principal Secretary Engineer Peter Toom has stated that it's all systems go ahead of the Total Energies CAF African Nations Championship final draw, which will be held at the KICC, that is the Kenyatta International Convention Center here in Nairobi. That is tonight, with President William Ruto expected to grace the event among other high-profile guests who include the CAF President Dr. Patrice Motsepe. The draw will also be live on KBC Channel 1 tonight as from 8 p.m.
Speaking at a briefing in Nairobi, Toom noted that Kenya has several well-established football clubs who play in the country's elite league and CAF interclub competition, which will enable Kenya to field a strong team as they make their debut at the Total Energies CAF African Nation Championship.
We are prepared to host the draw tomorrow. We've looked at 3 areas specifically. We are looking at the event management here, and we've been told that it is now ready, being prepared.
The local organization committee chairman Nicholas Musonye said all measures have been put in place to ensure the success of the upcoming event.
We have confirmed all the arrangements as per CAF requirements, and we want to assure you that we shall have a very good ceremony tomorrow. What we want us to do tomorrow is for good of this country and the region. So we want your presence. We want you to cover this event positively and give us a very good platform to promote our countries of the East African community.
The CAF security officer, Christian Emerua, added that KICC will be closed to the public for the draw tomorrow to ensure seamless production.
If you don't have the vehicle access pass, you are not allowed to come to KICC tomorrow. If you don't have invitations, you are not allowed to come to KICC tomorrow. So this is very important so that we avoid any problem at the gates.
The draw will feature local East African legends led by Kenya's McDonald Mariga, Hassan Waso of Uganda, Mrisho Ngasa of Tanzania. A total of 19 teams, including host nations Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania, and defending champions Senegal, will compete in the tournament.
Remember, the draw will be done tonight, so stay tuned. As from 8 p.m., KBC Channel 1 will be bringing you live proceedings of that tonight. Well, that's where we end the news this morning. My name is Marie Yambo. Thank you, as always, for your company. My colleague Mike Megwe is up next with The Viewpoint. Our guests are already in studio. See you tomorrow.